I was closing at Dockside Eatery on Miller Avenue. The neon was sputtering like it needed a nap. My apron smelled like fries and bleach, and I slipped a foil-wrapped BLT into my pocket, because it was headed to the trash anyway. Then my manager's voice cracked across the tile like a frying pan. "What did you just put in your pocket?" Keisha, say it out loud. The dish machine hissed, forks froze mid-air, and every set of eyes pretended to be busy, but waited for the show. Outside under the awning, a thin man in a ragged jacket had been standing for an hour, with his hands in his sleeves, not panhandling, not talking. Just there. And I said, "He's hungry, it was going to the bin." Vanessa Crane walked up, slow, pencil skirt, smile that meant trouble. "We are not a pantry, you do not gift my inventory to sidewalk props," I said. "Then maybe your inventory needs a conscience." She snatched the sandwich so hard the foil burned my fingers. "You're done here, turn in your apron." And I felt my knees do that stupid wobble I hate, because it wasn't just a job, it was rent and insulin and the power bill with an attitude, so I heard myself say, "Please write me up, dock my tips, just don't take this from me." And she laughed, the kind of laugh that blames you for bleeding. That's when the man from the awning stepped through the door, lifted his hood back and set a dark metal card on the counter, like he was playing a quiet hand. "Run that on the staff tablet, please." Beep then. A profile popped up so clean, even the grease in the air backed away. Name Rowan Hale, title founder. Hale and Hearth, hospitality owner. Vanessa's lipstick went pale, Mr. And he cut her off with a look. I saw what I needed to see. He turned to me. "You still want to give that sandwich to the man you thought I was, Keisha? Then do it after that. Come sit down." I handed it over. Outside, the man's "thank you" sounded like the first warm word he'd heard all week when I came back in. Showen faced Vanessa. "You confused policy with purpose. You humiliated an employee for choosing kindness. You're relieved." Effective immediately. Security opened the door. Nobody touched her. The place exhaled. In the back booth where couples usually split pie, he told me. His cousin froze to death 2 blocks from one of his places, city toe tag phone call 2 days late. Profits in the quarterly report that tasted like chalk after that. So he went undercover to see who still had a heart when no one important was watching. And there I was, not a saint, just a woman who couldn't toss food, while a human stood in the cold. He slid me a folded page. "Effective tomorrow. Assistant floor lead. We'll train you. I trust your instincts more than a bullet point." Next morning, he wasn't the awning ghost, and he wasn't a boardroom poster either. Gray jacket, navy Henley sneakers that said he pays attention, but still runs when needed. He handed me coffee, black with 2 sugars, you know what I mean. That small thing that says, "I see you." Staff trickled in, awkward cooks peeking over the pass like meerkats. I said, "I know last night was messy. I'd rather work at a place that doesn't let people starve under our neon than one that counts napkins like minted coins. We're still a business, but if we can't look someone in the eye and say you matter, then all these plates are props." Rowan announced a pilot, backdoor promise. Any safe, uneaten food gets logged, wrapped, handed out with dignity, not tossed, not secret, accountable, and proud. 2 hours later, compliance blew in on sharp heels, Marjorie Lang, clipboard voice. "We've received reports of unauthorized food distribution and non-standard staffing, effective immediately. This is suspended, pending review." The room went 10 degrees colder. Rowan didn't raise his voice. He placed a folder at the exact center of the counter, like chess, revised directive signed yesterday. "Backdoor promise is approved here and funded at 3 sites, and Keisha is helping write the playbook." Marjorie's pen stopped its little drum solo. "I'll inform the board, please do." That night, the The dining room felt like a living room. A mom and a kid in a too-big hoodie came in, tired from the edges. Rowan nodded, compet no speech, and the kid ate like he didn't trust the second bite would still be there. And for a minute I thought maybe heaven looks like cheap vinyl and hot soup. Good change draws heat, like a porch light draws moths. You knew that was coming right. A week later, a man in a perfect tie and a smirk, Victor Pike, planted himself in our lobby representing franchise owners addicted to polish. Your handouts are hurting our premium image. If you don't cease, we'll petition to restrict the hail and hearth mark on any location running these activities, he said. Activities like a disease, Rowan didn't blink, then restrict it. We'll change the sign and keep the soul. And you could see the math jolt behind Victor's eyes, because people like him never expect you to pick principle over paint. 2 nights after that, someone jimmied our prep space. They didn't take food. They took paper, donation logs, volunteer contacts, permit copies. Like they wanted to steal our receipts, then sell us a rumor. The board called a vote. Liability. Perception drift, all the pretty words that mean fear. Rowan could have gone alone. He told me to come dressed like I actually work. Where I work, not like I'm auditioning to be believed. So I stood while the directors sat, knees buzzing, and I told the truth like I'd tell it at my aunt's table. I almost lost my job for offering a sandwich that would have fed rats by midnight. In 2 weeks, we served 400 plates with food that used to glow under a dumpster light. You're scared of the wrong headline. You should be scared of the night. We stopped seeing people at all. Victor smirked from the end. Investors are nervous, compassion doesn't scale. And Rowan said, then maybe they should invest in something smaller. Motion to continue the pilot 6 months with oversight, hands rose, enough of them, and we walked out, breathing like we'd been underwater. We trained new scripts, not, sorry we can't, but here's what we can do. We set a crate by the back door, labeled warm hands. Take one, no questions. We partnered with shelters who knew the names. We were still learning. Renee showed up in a jacket that had seen tough winters and asked to volunteer without an address. I told her, you don't need an address to own a job. She ran Mondays like a pro in 2 weeks. Then the smear dropped. Anonymous blog with a shiny logo. Dockside's charity queen skims funds. Chopped video of me talking soft to Renee, edited to sound like I was rehearsing lines instead of offering a shift and a sandwich. Sponsors' panicked accounts froze like pipes in January. Protesters on the sidewalk with signs that shouted fraud louder than our purpose could whisper. I wanted to go live and roar, but Rowan said, breathe first. Anger speaks fast. Truth holds a longer note. That night, I wrote, if you're going to doubt me, read this first. And I told people, I know how to count tips to the penny. I know the feeling of choosing between bus fare and groceries, and I will not steal the one thing that lets me sleep. The fact that when I hand a plate in the cold, I mean it. We posted it, no music, no filters, and people answered. A pastor's seniors said Keisha's truck fed me when my own son forgot my name. A shelter nurse said, we audit their logs, this smear is a lie. And Renee leaned on our dented van and said, you can fake a document. You can't fake the way a room warms when someone cares. Yeah, that happened. The city opened an inquiry, because that's what cities do. When the internet yells our deliveries didn't stop, we shoved trays into trunks and walked soups up 3 flights, because that old elevator hates Mondays, and by week's end the clerk said the phrase that buys you 3 hours of sleep, no evidence of wrongdoing at this time. We didn't victory lap, we prepped. The work kept outgrowing the sign, so in the alley behind Dockside we took a breath and named the thing we'd really built Streetlight Kitchen. Separate books, separate board, same table. Backdoor promise kept living at dockside where it was born, but the roots, the listening, the stubborn belief that people are not projects that became ours. Marjorie came by without the armor and asked for coffee, and help her nephew had slipped through the cracks. We found him curled behind a church near his grandfather's grave. Because grief will pick a map when no one else does, the hug wasn't pretty, it was real. And nobody kept score. At our first streetlight homecoming, we taped butcher paper over long tables and said, "If you ever sat at our table, come home for a meal." The room filled with faces we'd met in line and in rain and in waiting rooms. Marcus, the kid in the too big hoodie, unfolded a crumpled page and said, "I thought home was a door that locks now. I think it's a voice that remembers your name," and my knees almost gave the way they did that first night, except this time it was from joy. If this were a movie, the credits would roll on that applause, but real life loves a messy sequel. A new letterhead arrived. Different angle streetlight. Encourages vagrancy near premium corridors. You will face zoning challenges if you expand a translation. We see your light and plan to make it exhausting. Fine. We're not fragile, we're practiced. And I've stopped flinching at the word investigation. I carry extra pens for names that need writing. I still end most nights at the dish sink where steam hides tears like a friend. Here's what I know: policies matter. Schedules keep doors open. Permits keep inspectors calm. But none of it means a thing if the person on the other side of the counter doesn't feel seen. You can automate a lot of things. You cannot automate dignity, not at scale, not at all. So tell me, was I right to pass that sandwich? Or was Vanessa right to protect policy? Where do you draw that line in your world? Have you seen kindness punished in public? Do you believe businesses should risk their image to do what's right? Or is that naive? What would you do if your name was on the door? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from, and if someone ever remembered your name when the world forgot. Write that story too. We read everyone.